All right, so welcome. So excited to have you here. My name is Pendulum, and I'm your tutor on this channel. This is Pendulmatics, and this channel is all about breaking down and explaining A-level mathematics, making it as simple and as easy to understand as possible. All right, and my remit here is to keep these videos as short as possible but as detailed and as explanatory as possible. So if you're watching this, you're welcome. I want you to, if you find this video helpful, do well to like the video so that other people can also see it. Drop your comments. If you have questions, you have suggestions, you have feedback, please drop it in the comments as well. And share this video as well to your friends so that they can also learn. We have a Telegram community. You can join us there so that you can also interact with other students and drop your questions. All right, so let's get into today's video. We'll be looking at quadratic equations. It's one of the most popular topics in A-level maths, so let's start from there. A quadratic equation is an equation in which the highest power of the variable is 2. The highest power of the unknown, which could be x, could be y, could be any letter, is 2 or is squared. All right, so this is the general form of a quadratic equation. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That's the standard or the general format of a quadratic equation. All right, now you can see that this is our variable or our unknown. X is our unknown, and the highest power of x here is 2. X is squared. We have x here that is to 1 power, and although it's not written here, we also have x that is to power 0. You know that anything raised to the power of 0 is 1, so that's why it's not written. But we have x raised to power 0, x raised to power 1, and x raised to power 2 as the highest power. That's what makes this a quadratic equation. Okay, now there's a condition. This can only be a quadratic equation where a is not equal to 0. And it's important that a is not equal to 0 because if a is 0, that means a is the coefficient of x squared. That is what is the number beside x squared, the number multiplying x squared. And if a is 0, it automatically means that everything here will disappear because 0 times any number or any alphabet is 0. 0 times anything is 0. So if a is 0, automatically everything here disappears, and then the highest power of our variable will be just 1, which is no longer a quadratic equation. That is why a cannot be 0. Okay, so that this does not disappear. But b and c can be 0. Okay, b is the coefficient of x, or the coefficient of the single power of our variable, and we call c a constant. C is called a constant. C is just a number. Okay, any of these can be positive or negative. A can be positive or negative, so it can be 1, it can be -1, it can be -10, it can be 20. B can also be positive or negative. C can be positive or negative, as we'll see when we take examples. All right, now like I said, b is the coefficient of x, the number beside x, and c is a constant. Now if b is 0, that means there will be nothing here. You can see everything here will disappear, so we are going to be left with ax squared plus c. This is the format when b is 0, so there is no term in x raised to power 1. It's gone. Okay, and then if c is 0, if there's no constant, we are going to have ax squared plus bx, no c, is equal to 0. These two are still quadratic equations. Why? The highest power of our unknown here is still 2. In this case, the highest power of x is squared, although there's no x in power 1. But as long as there's x raised to power 2 or any other letter, any other variable, you know that x is not the only letter used to represent variables or unknown. As long as there is a power of 2, it's a quadratic equation. As long as there is a power of 2, whether it's complete or not, there is a quadratic equation. All right, so quadratic equations basically are solved by 3 methods. There are more. Okay, by 4 methods. You can solve it by factorization. That's the first method. You can solve by completing the square. You can solve by completing the square. That's another method. You can solve by quadratic or almighty formula. That's another way to solve them. And you can also plot their graphs. Yeah, you can also plot their graph. So that's graphically, by graphical methods. You can also plot the graph. Okay, but we're going to just consider 1, 2, 3. And in this video, we're going to consider these 3. And in this video, we'll focus on just the first one. So we are going to focus on solving by factorization. Solving by factorization. Okay. All right. And I should state that factorization does not solve every quadratic equation. Okay. Factorization is a limited method of solving quadratic equation. It cannot solve every or all quadratic equations. So you need to check whether the equation is solvable by factorization before you go ahead. So let's just take some examples, and I will show you how to use factorization, and then we'll end this video. So let's use this. This one is quite common. Now this is a quadratic equation, and we are asked to solve for x. Solve for x. Now you should also remember that in every quadratic equation, because x is raised to the power of 2, so we are going to get 2 answers or 2 values for x. So when you're solving a quadratic equation, know that you're expected to get 2 values for x. The 2 values may be different, and then we say the roots are real and distinct. They may be the same, and we say the roots are real and equal. Or they may be imaginary. That's where you start getting complex numbers. When you start getting negative square roots. Okay, we'll get to that later. All right, but let's look at how we can solve this by factorization. Just keep in mind that you're supposed to get 2 answers. They may be the same number, they may be different numbers, but you should get 2 answers. Now, how do we solve this? We have x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. Now, let us bring out our a. Remember, is the coefficient of x squared. So the number attached to x squared here is 1. There's an invisible 1 here. Don't forget that. Our b here, the number attached to x, is 5. Our c, the constant, that's this, is 6. Now, to solve by factorization, we are going to multiply a and c. We are going to multiply these two. Let me write it out for you. We are going to multiply a and c. So you multiply the coefficient of x squared and the constant. Alright, so if we do that here, that gives us 1 times 6, which is equals to 6. Right? I hope you're following. I hope it's clear up to this point. We have 1 times 6, which is 6. The first step is to multiply the coefficient of x squared a by the constant. So the coefficient of x squared here is 1. The constant is 6. Multiply it to get 6. Now, this is where we are now going to we begin factorization. We are now going to look for factors of 6. That's this answer we got here. This answer. Please listen, pay attention. We're going to look for factors of 6 that when we add, we get 5. We look for factors of this answer we got here, this product of A and C. We'll look for factors. Now, you may ask, what are factors? Factors are 2 numbers that can divide a particular number without a remainder. Okay? And that means if you multiply 2 factors, it should give you the same number. For example, factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Okay? 1 can divide 4 without a remainder. 2 can divide 4 without a remainder. 4 can divide itself without a remainder. These are factors of 4. Factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Yes. 1, 2, 5, and 10. 1 can divide 10 without a remainder, you get 10. 2 can divide 10 without a remainder, you get 5. 5 can divide 10 without a remainder, you get 2. And 10 can divide 10 without a remainder, you get 1. So these are factors, numbers that can divide another number without a remainder. Do you get that? Good. Now we're going to look for factors of 6. 2 factors of 6 that when you add them, you get 5. Now factors of 6, let me write it out here. Factors of 6 are factors of 6. Factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. 1, 2, 3, and 6. 1 can divide 6 to give you 6. 2 will divide 6 to give you 3. 3 will divide 6 to give you 2. 6 will divide 6 to give you 1. So these are our factors of 6. 1, 2, 3, and 6. Now, we are going to pick 2 of these factors that when you add, you get 5. Remember, when we talk of factors, it can be positive and negative. Just so that you keep that in mind for other examples. It must not only be positive, it can also be negative. Okay? Now, which 2 factors here can we add to give you 5? Remember, we must get back B. And you can see that if you pick these 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. Alright? So, let me write out the step. After you multiply A and C, you get 6. You find 2 factors of 6 that their sum, I hope you know what is sum. Sum means the addition of 2 things or 3 things or more, just the addition, that's sum. That their sum will give you 5. Okay, so you just multiply A and C, find the factors of the answer that will give you B. That's it. Maybe that will help you remember. Multiply A and C, find the factors of the answer that will give you C. I hope it's clear like that. So now, and we said our factors here, our factors are plus 2 and plus 3. Okay, I'm putting the sign here so that next time if you see minus, you won't be surprised where is it coming from. In this case, both of them have to be positive because our answer is plus 5, right? That's what we are looking for, is plus 5. So plus 2 and 3, that's 2 plus 3 is 5. Now what we're going to do here, after we've gotten these 2 factors, we'll remove this 5 and replace it by 2 and 3. I'm going to remove 5 and replace it by 2 and 3. So we remove B and replace by the 2 factors. Please remember these steps. We remove B. Now we have found 2 factors of the product of A and C that will give you B, right? So you remove B and replace it by the factors. Therefore, we'll have, this is still x squared. Now we remove 5 and replace it by plus, remember, 2x, remember B is attached to x, plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 equals to 0. Okay? If you've gotten to this stage, you've done half of the work. I will recap quickly. Multiply A and C. Multiply A and C. You get 1 times 6 will give you 6. Then you find factors of 6, 2 numbers that can divide 6 without a remainder, and then you pick 2 out of those numbers that when you add, you get what is in the middle. That's your B. And here we pick 2 and 3. If we add 2 and 3, we get 5. Okay, and if we multiply 2 and 3, we get 6. So telling you that is a factor. But if we add them, we get 5. So we'll replace this 5 with 2, we'll add x, plus 3, we add x. Okay, now if you get to this point, you have basically finished everything. So we group it, and if we group it, that means we just take these 2, we'll take these 2, this first 2, and plus we take the second 2 together. Okay, that means we factor these two together, we factor these two together. That's what it just means. That's why I mean by grouping. We factor these two together, we put it together, we factor these two. Factoring means what is common between them. Bring out what is common between them. Okay, so that's what factoring means. Bring out what is common between them. So if you look at this one now, maybe I should bring it up. Okay, let's look at this. This is x squared plus 2x. Now, if you look at both of them, what is common between them? That is what is here, that is also here. What is in x squared that is also in 2x is x. There's x here, there's x here. So if I bring out that x, what will be left in the bracket? Remember, this is x squared. That is x. X squared means x 2 times. X times x. So if I bring out one of the x, I'm left with another x plus. If I bring out the x beside these two, I'll be left with 2. Now I've factored this part. It's that simple. Look at what is common between these two. There's x here and there's x here. So I bring out one of the x. Okay. Now, if I bring out one x from x squared, it will remain only one x. It's like I'm cleaning out this square. It will remain only one x. If I remove the x attached to 2, it will remain only 2. If I come to this other box, what is common between 3x and 6? What is common is 3. Because 3 can divide 3 without a remainder, that's 1. 3 can divide 6 without a remainder, that's 2. So 3 is common between 2 of them. So I can bring out 3. Right? And then if I bring out 3 from 3x, it's like I'm closing this one. What are you seeing there alone? X. Okay, if I bring out 3 from here, only x is left. So we have x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. If I bring out 3 from 6, is 2. Alright. Now, you can see one way to checkmate your work that you're not doing the wrong thing. When you factorize, you're supposed to get the same thing in both brackets. So that's one way to check if you're doing the right thing. You're supposed to get the same value in both brackets. If you didn't get the same value, go back and check to be sure that you're not doing something wrong. So from here, I can pick one of these brackets and pick these two terms outside. So I have x plus 3. That's x plus 3. Then I pick this other one, x plus 2 is all equal to 0. Okay? I pick this one and pick this one outside, x plus 3, bracket. I just take one of them, x plus 2. Everything is equal to 0. This means that x plus 3 is equal to 0. Or, remember, two answers. X plus 2 is equal to 0. And in this case, you're almost done. Just collect like terms. Let this plus 3 cross to the other side. Since you are looking for x, x has to stand alone. So if I move this plus 3 to the other side, remember, when plus crosses the equality sign, it becomes minus. So x is minus 3. Or if plus 2 crosses to the other side, x will be what? Minus 2. These are our two answers for this question. So it's as simple as that. Okay? I will take one more example so that you understand it well. But this is the process. Okay?